Frozen Ever After is a dark ride at Epcot. This is a well-themed boat ride featuring impressive animatronics and beautiful music, but it also has a few drops for variety. All this makes it a can't-miss attraction for me at Walt Disney World. It also makes me more optimistic about the conversion of Splash Mountain to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and I'll explain why in this review. World Showcase is a unique area of Epcot, and I mean this as a compliment, but it doesn't really feel like a traditional theme park. You have 11 different country pavilions, and they all showcase different cultures through shops, restaurants, and a few attractions. This area does not have many rides, but for nearly 2.5 decades, the most notable ride back there was Maelstrom. Located in the Norway Pavilion, this was an indoor flume ride featuring Nordic mythology, wildlife, and culture. The sets were dated and a bit dark, but it was a fun attraction. In 2013, Disney released the musical film Frozen. To say this was a smashing success is a massive understatement. Frozen became the highest-grossing animated film of all time. It was a cultural phenomenon, and Disney immediately started to look for ways to incorporate the film's characters into the theme parks. The film takes place in Arendelle, which was heavily inspired by Norway, so Disney quickly added merchandise and meet and greets to the Norway Pavilion, but they then turned their eyes to Maelstrom. The ride was due for an update. Rather than restoring it, Disney announced in late 2014 that it would permanently close and be transformed into a Frozen ride. Named Frozen Ever After, this attraction opened just in time for the summer 2016. By reusing the old ride system, Disney was able to accelerate the construction timeline. However, this had a trade-off. Frozen would retain Maelstrom's low throughput. This ride has several boats on the course at once, but the ride accommodates roughly 900 riders per hour. This is less than any other ride at Epcot, and that assumes the boats are fully loaded. Each boat has 4 rows. Each row can hold up to 4 guests. While it is possible to fit 4 adults in a row, know that it'll be a very tight squeeze. But the park did make some modifications to handle the increased demand at least. Originally, Maelstrom had an entirely separate load and unload platform separated by a bend. Riders now load and unload on the former unload platform. This had 2 benefits. 1, an additional show scene could be added in the former load platform before the lift hill. 2, this created more queue space. Maelstrom used to exit into a theater with a show about Norway. This theater was demolished and replaced by an indoor queue line. This was much needed because Maelstrom did not have much queue space. Frozen regularly has one of the longest lines at the resort. It often hovers around the 60 to 90 minute mark daily. The easiest way to bypass the wait is with Genie Plus. This is the park's skip the line system. You can book a lightning lane for each ride at the resort once per day in the Walt Disney World app. Return times are limited, and they're often depleted for Frozen by the late morning, so I would make this your second priority at Epcot after Ratatouille. Once times run out, you can keep refreshing. A few will be added as others make modifications to their reservations, but this isn't frequent and you need to get lucky to see one. If you have a lightning lane, you should typically board in just 10 to 15 minutes because roughly 3/4 of the ride's capacity is allotted to them. This means the standby queue crawls during normal hours. The entire indoor portion alone takes an hour when Lightning Lane is in use. Meanwhile, this portion takes just 15 minutes total if you ride Frozen when Lightning Lane is not in use. The other 2 ways to avoid a long wait are to arrive early or late. If you have early entry, this is a smart ride to start with. The wait should be no more than a half hour because Lightning Lane is not yet in use. If you do not have early entry and arrive at regular park open, know the ride will likely already have a 45 to 60 minute wait by the time you get there. Alternatively, you can hop in line at the end of the day. Since there are no more lightning lanes, the standby queue will fly. The one downside with this is that Epcot typically has their nighttime spectacular start right at park close, so you will miss the start of the show if you do this. Then if you're at a select resort with extended evening hours, Frozen is typically a near walk-on for the entire night. The presentation of this ride is great. The ride is nestled in the back of the Norway Pavilion. The entrance resembles a stony fortress. Then the rest of the building is covered by rocks and a nice waterfall. Back when it was Maelstrom, there was a small window where you could see the boats on a turntable, but this was closed up during the conversion to Frozen. The outdoor queue, quite bluntly, is miserable. It is hot and does not have much to look at, but the indoor queue looks nice. The first part is all sorts of items from Norway. The last part is themed to look like a dock, and at one point, you pass through a sauna with Oaken, aka the Yoo-hoo guy from the film. Then the vehicles look like Viking boats. At the end of the queue line, you are assigned a row, but cast members are happy to honor seating requests if you have any. I recommend asking for the front because you will get a slightly better view. The only thing blocking you up there is the boat's bow. Like the other boat rides at Disney, Frozen has absolutely no restraints. This means guests can enter and exit the boats quickly. The ride takes place after the events of the first film. To honor Princess Anna for saving Elsa, the town holds an official Summer Snow Day festival. Before going scene by scene, I want to give some high-level generalizations about the sets. I love how they all have detailed animatronics. You have fully built-up bodies with projection-mapped faces. Each scene is at least one or two of these. I much prefer physical sets to screens. There are some screens behind most sets, but they're not the primary focus. They're often there for background effects like falling snow, so they're more for ambiance. The overall atmosphere is fantastic. The sets have an icy blue aesthetic to them, and the lighting complements that perfectly. Then the music is wonderful. I love the soundtrack from the first film, and this features all the most popular songs. The lyrics for a few of them have been tweaked ever so slightly for this ride, but the melody is the same. The ride begins by passing Sven and Olaf. The latter looks particularly impressive. He has so much motion to him. It's mesmerizing seeing him waddle about, and he sings "Do You Want to Build a Snowman?" Next you pass the trolls, who are on mossy rocks, giving a much different aesthetic than the ride's other scenes. They recount the events of the first film ever so briefly. You then ascend the ride's lone lift hill. This brings you towards Elsa's ice palace. You have some screens to the side with these animated snowflakes, but it does feel more like filler than the other scenes in the ride. Then this is complemented by the chorus of echoing voices that creates a whimsical vibe. Atop the lift, you encounter another Olaf animatronic that is equally as impressive. This one is ice skating around a fountain to the music of For the First Time in Forever. Olaf is comically botching the lyrics, but fortunately, you encounter Anna and Kristoff in the next scene who are singing them correctly. The use of projection mapping on their faces is brilliant while they're singing. Then you have poor Sven off to the side who is stuck on a pole that he licked. Next you enter the palace and find Elsa singing Let It Go. It is the franchise's most popular song, and for good reason. It has so much energy, and the scene is spectacular as well. You have an animated Elsa animatronic above you. Then you have screens with all sorts of snow effects, and as you watch this, your boat goes onto a turntable and reverses direction. You exit the scene down a small backwards drop. It has no force to it, but it will sneak up on most riders who are caught up in the song. Then you briskly move backwards, all while still hearing Let It Go, through a room past a series of screens showing clips of Elsa singing from the film. It's a nice transition between sets. You then back onto the second turntable. This one rotates you forwards. While this happens, you see a hulking abominable snowman in front of you named Marshmallow. His scale is mighty impressive. You then start moving forwards and he blows a cloud of mist into your face. This coincides with the start of a 3-story plunge. It's rather shallow, so it has no power, but it is a fun finale. It is very theatrical. The resultant splash should not be too big, but you can get a light sprinkle in the front if you have a heavy boat. You then pass the castle and village while seeing some icy fireworks in the ceiling. Then you have one last scene passing Anna, Elsa, and Olaf. The animatronics say goodbye, and they sing In Summer to riders. You then return to the station, ending the nearly 5-minute long experience. Frozen is roughly 30 seconds longer than its predecessor because of the additional scene at the start, and the whole ride feels much more complete than some of the Fantasyland dark rides that are half as long. So what would I rate Frozen Ever After? I would give this ride a 9 out of 10. This is an excellent dark ride and a major upgrade over Maelstrom. I love the sets. The animatronics are top notch, and the supplementary effects complement them perfectly. And I love the incorporation of the film's famous songs. Then you have a smidge of thrills with the backwards bit and the small drops. I think it definitely helps your enjoyment if you love the film franchise, but the ride is so well done that anyone can appreciate this ride. Between the visuals and music, Disney knocked it out of the park, and it's now one of the best rides at Epcot. It's now a must-ride every single visit for me. The success of this ride prompted additional versions to be built at Disney parks across the globe. A version of this ride just opened at Hong Kong Disneyland. Then it's currently under construction at Tokyo Disney Sea and Walt Disney Studios at the Paris Resort. I certainly do not mind this ride being cloned given how great it is. And unlike the version in Florida, these installations are being built from scratch and they'll be part of an all-new Frozen-themed land rather than a pre-existing Norway pavilion. And the quality of this ride makes me much more optimistic about the transformation of Splash Mountain into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. The reason I love Splash Mountain is because you have an incredible log flume layout on its own, plus an elite dark ride with detailed sets and wonderful music. I was not attached to the source material. Rather, I was in love with the great ride. If Disney creates scenes of similar quality to Frozen Ever After and Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the experience should be just as good or possibly even better than what Splash Mountain was, so I'll hold out hope it'll be better. So those are my thoughts on Frozen Ever After, the fantastic dark ride at Epcot. What are your thoughts about this attraction? Are you a fan? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.